Hello one and all, it is I, Big Brain. So, and I wanted to mention that today I am going to be talking about something that I came up with a few years ago. Because, well, I made this on February 13th, 2019, and so I think at the time I was 15. Oh, I'm 19 now, time flies. But anyways, it's called the possible confirmation of the expanding universe theory from Hubble's law. And the reason why it's like so old and I pretty much haven't shared it with anyone was because, well, I was afraid that if I told anyone about it, then someone would steal my idea and claim it for their own and be dumb. And so that was my main reason of not uploading it to YouTube, is since I had a channel when I was 15 and reasons. But anyways, I wanted to share this with you guys. Although it's been a while ago, so I'm not sure if by the time I already made this, someone already discovered it or thought it already. But I just wanted to share my idea and hopefully contribute to more knowledge, even just a little bit. And just give my 2 cents. And okay, so let's begin. I wrote it down on this. I wrote it all down on this paper. As you can see, the long wall of red ink. And okay, so anyways, I'll start. Since I will read it off of this paper because there's no way I can memorize this all and talk about it in this presentation speech format. So I'll go with reading off of the paper that I made a long time ago. But anyways, here we go. Begin the knowledge lecture. Alright, so do you know about the model created by Alexander Friedman for the universe expansion in 1922? The evidence has been gathered in the form of redshift wavelength colors to prove that the universe is currently expanding based on galaxies seeming to move further and further away. This is Hubble's law, in which the colors of the galaxies and objects in space based on the redshift scale is proportional to its distance. Alexander Friedman's 1922 model tells that because the universe is expanding, it means that there was a point in time in which the universe began, the Big Bang. I want to further prove / support this and maybe give a greater possibility of the likelihood that the expansion theory can be true. Alright, evidence number 1. Think back to explosions. The Big Bang was an explosion, right? The scientists have told that after the Big Bang, everything has spread apart since. Though there's another theory made called the Big Crunch, where unlike the Big Bang, the universe will stop expanding and start contracting inwards. Now I think that this just can't be true. For explosions like a supernova, for example, have never been recorded to collapse all of a sudden after a certain amount of time. It just keeps on going. And like explosions within air, they start to dissipate, and the explosion doesn't appear to be going on forever. For example, if you've ever seen a nuclear bomb, the clouds and all the stuff, they start to fade out in the air after a while. They don't just stop growing and then implode on themselves due to the air surrounding them. It doesn't work that way. And so, I lost my part. And like the explosions within air, they start to dissipate, and the explosion doesn't appear to be going on forever. This brings me to evidence number 2. Evidence number 2. Oh boy. The Big Rip. The theory explaining the chance in which the universe will expand so much that everything is torn apart. This also can be true. Space is not matter itself. It's just emptiness. A void. Therefore, no matter how far things get, the space in between just increases. Evidence 3, something I've thought of on my own, is that on the universe expansion theory, it says that the universe goes on forever and ever. Although this part might be true, I just realized, why do explosions seem to stop expanding at a certain point? Why don't they just keep getting bigger and bigger? Hence my example with the mushroom cloud. Technically they do keep getting bigger, but the reason why it looks like the explosion dissipates and vanishes is because the molecules all of the uranium and all of those particles are by now too far away from each other in the air, and not clustered so they can't see them anymore with their naked eye. On Earth, explosions appear to start very rapidly, but will slow down as it gets larger. So why do they slow down, you ask? Forces of friction, my friend. Forces of friction. Because we have air, the air molecules will go against the explosion chemicals until the molecules all slow and stop eventually. However, this doesn't apply to space since there's no oxygen and not very many particles to cause friction in the vacuum of space. This means that there's a potential chance that since the Big Bang, the speed at which the universe is expanding hasn't slowed at all. And even if it has slowed, it didn't probably only like just a teensy bit. However, there's still potential for explosions like supernovas. However, there's still potential for explosions like supernovas that can stop at a certain point because of debris or rocks. But what about the borders of the expanding universe? Before the Big Bang occurred, literally nothing existed yet. Although I can't really know for sure because I'm not a time traveler and I can't go back in time to see what happened before the Big Bang, so there's that. But anyways, yet this means that there's likely no force that obstructs. This means that there's likely no force that obstructs the path of the. I'm stopping. Sorry. This means that there's likely no force that obstructs the path of the universe. Expanding, so that's those. Pardon for my stammering words. So this means that there's likely no force that obstructs the path of the universe. That expanding so that it slows down. Okay. The only way to find out is to step outside of the universe and see if anything exists. But since nothing existed before the Big Bang, again, theory, I'm sure that the outside is either barriers or empty space. Because, and plus, along with that, we don't really have any way of knowing, because until we find a way to actually go outside of the universe, it's hard to figure this out. So take this with a grain of salt. So evidence number 4. Bringing me back to the Big Crunch theory, in order for something to collapse inwards, there needs to be an external force acting upon it. So if the theory was supposedly correct, and everything starts to contract, since nothing outside the universe existed in the beginning, that means that God would have created the force to act against the universal boundaries for God. Oh, I made a little typo. That means that God. So if the theory was supposedly correct and everything starts to contract, since nothing outside the universe existed in the beginning, that means that God would have created the force to act against the universal boundaries for God. Against the universal boundaries. For God is the only one that can create out of nothing. But if you don't believe in his existence, then that proves the Big Crunch to be impossible, because I don't know of any other explanations. So it's like a tire. The reason why it deflates in cold weather is because the force, cold air, acting upon the tire is greater than the force of the pressure inside the tire moving outwards. This same example applies to the universe. With no outside pressure, the universe won't ever collapse. Now, this has been brought to my attention. Is there really an outside of the universe? Yes, there is. Why? Because the Big Bang was a single point, and something outside it has caused it to explode. The universe can't make itself explode. Everything has a cause. If everything is but a single point, that means that there's borders. Borders contain, meaning that there's an outside part that made these borders. Enter God. God created the borders. If not God, then what did? Is the Big Bang a freak accident? I think not. Before that, there's nothingness. Unless something intentionally caused the Big Bang, nothingness can't have any impact. The point which was the entire universe has been created somehow. The point which was the universe has been created somehow, in which God was the creator and trigger of the Big Bang. The point can't just magically appear, because if that were true, we'd see further evidence of things just blinking into existence. It's ridiculous. Imagine, because people wonder how the Big Bang even started, and then just imagine if it was just blackness to space, and then all of a sudden, teeny tiny dot just poofs into existence, and we haven't seen any of of anything similar to that sense, so I think that's why I explained that God was the one who brought it into existence and sparked the whole thing. Okay, anyways, moving on. It's ridiculous. Everything has a process to be created. Like black holes appearing by stars collapsing, or a house made by carpenters. By the way, there's no chance that the explosion of the Big Bang happened by the things inside. Again, the things inside were made as well. Lastly, something else to caught my eye was one last prediction someone made about the end of the universe called the Big Freeze, where everything eventually gets too far away from the heat sources and freezes altogether. Here's my conclusion. The Big Crunch is impossible, the Big Rip is impossible, the most likely answer for how the universe would end is the Big Freeze. Because although our solar system's planets aren't moving away from the sun will eventually die and freeze everything around it once it dies, once it does. That is after the red giant burns everything and turns into a dwarf. And many other stars would die as well. Though there's tons of gas that form new stars from many other things like asteroid collisions and space dust. Next page. So there's actually a good chance that the universe might never end and will continuously expand forever at a constant rate until God makes the force outside the edge of the universe to make the universe slow down, stop, or start contracting back inwards. Otherwise, we'll just keep expanding the boundaries. Alright, and that is all I've written. And so keep in mind that I wrote this when I was 15 years old, so my 15-year-old brain might have had some logical loopholes in here. But I still thought that it was pretty insightful and I wanted to share it with you all. And maybe this is the solution or the answer for which of the end of the universe theories are true, which is the Big Rip, Big Freeze, and Big Crunch and all that. So hopefully my theory might have brought into light some additional insights about which one confirms which one would actually be true. So anyways, thank you. That concludes the end of my knowledge lecture, and I hope you liked it. And hit like and subscribe and hit the bell icon. No, I'm kidding, I don't do any of that status promoting stuff. But anyways, have a great day, and I'll see you on the next time when I upload a video. So, adios.